So this weekend, Bandai Namco launched their network test for Code Vein, and I was lucky enough to get a code to check the game out. And not in Bandai Namco sent me a code, I just signed up and luckily I got in. For those who don't know a lot about Code Vein, I can sum it up as Weep Souls. Now, I did not coin that term, and it's probably been running around the internet. As much as I'd like to stop calling hard games the Dark Souls of this type of genre, it's essentially the same amount of difficulty, but it is listed as an action RPG. I played about 8 hours of this network test, which is honestly nice for getting just a taste for the game, and I'm going to break down my opinions and what to expect from Bandai Namco Studios' newest title. Kicking off the demo, you go straight to the customization of your character, and holy crap, there is a crazy amount of details to dive into. General head customizations, accessories, clothing, makeup, voices, it's huge. You could spend the first hour experimenting and playing around with the character's look and kind of do your own style. I went for basic ass status, which I usually do when it comes to character customization, but skimming through the subreddit, people have free reign to create these awesome characters. Being thrown into the tutorial, I will admit that it is pretty overwhelming at first. The game tries to cram all of the main mechanics and features of this game in a small amount of time, and it really did intimidate me. Yet after playing for about an hour or so, everything started to come naturally as I played through it. And it is useful there is an option to go back to the tutorial at any time to get a quick refresher. There is a lot of meat to the combat, so get ready. I absolutely love the combat in this game. One of the things that intimidated me most about playing games such as Dark Souls or Bloodborne is trying out new things like magic or ranged builds, because all I really could find myself using is a quick and easy weapon. Code Vein makes everything accessible from the get-go, and everything just feels so good to use. From what the network test showed me, there were 3 types of weapons. You got your swords, your heavy weapons, and your ranged muskets. All of them are super fun to use, especially when you put blood codes into the mix. These blood codes are different class profiles, and just from what I've played, there are a ton of playstyles. Each blood code synergizes with weapon types and modifies your stats that benefit that specific class. I played them all, and the variety of gifts, which are essentially abilities or magic, are very unique playstyles. When you kill enough enemies with any of these abilities equipped, you can inherit that ability and can use it without being restricted to the blood code it originated from. You can also opt in for a partner which carry their own affinity with you and have certain abilities to help you throughout your playthrough, which is nice to have a bud, regardless if they can be annoying sometimes and a little condescending. So we have the weapons, blood codes, companions, and there's also the armor itself. So on top of all these cool combat mechanics, your armor is actually a weapon as well, which is just kind of the dopest thing on the planet, and it is really cool to see the animations of the different armor types. I hope there are more. There's so much at your disposal and kind of evens the playing field with how hard these enemies hit. And they hit hard. Enemies are unique, and bosses are even cooler when it comes to the aesthetic and abilities. And just to tack it on, the soundtrack just makes everything much better. The game is very pretty to look at. The colors really blend well together to really give a feeling of this ruined and desecrated atmosphere. To summarize it, I'll use Bandai Namco's essential description on how the story goes. The world as we know it is gone. At the center of the destruction lies a hidden society of revenants called Vein, that's us. Those who remain fight for survival by acquiring gifts of power in exchange for their memories, and an ever-increasing thirst for blood. Give in to the bloodlust fully, and risk becoming one of the lost, fiendish ghouls devoid of any remaining humanity who wander aimlessly in search of blood. Team up and embark on a journey to the ends of hell to unlock your past and escape your living nightmares in Code Vein. That's pretty much the whole premise of this game. We're pretty much stuck in this city, surrounded by this gigantic barrier, searching for these blood beads that show up. And we need to use those to quench our thirst, or we'll become these fiendish ghouls called the Lost. And from there, we get our first mission, and as any other game with a protagonist, or I would say anime, we are the chosen one. And we're accompanied by Io, who is this mysterious figure who wants to aid us in saving the world, pretty much. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions and mysterious characters, but it's a sneak peek. The game isn't out yet. This makes me hope the game is not too short, but just the right amount of story to keep everyone satisfied. Code Vein's combat is top-notch. The injection of blood codes, along with the gifts and passives, leaves a lot of room open for experimentation and variety. aesthetically pleasing boss fights and overall look, it gets me excited for what I will encounter when I pick up the game. So you can play the game by yourself, but it also allows for co-op multiplayer, so you can do quests with your friends. There's a very pleasing art direction and graphical style to this game. I really do enjoy the anime aesthetic of certain games, but I really can't get into a lot of JRPGs, mainly because the art style just doesn't really cut it. But this game does very well in introducing more Western type styles of gameplay and injecting that anime art direction. That's honestly all I got from my experience with Code Vein this weekend, and the fact that I played about 6 hours, I'm definitely going to be picking this game up and doing a full review after I complete it. But I have high hopes for this game. I'm hoping for a wider variety of weapon types and armor, and seeing how many blood codes I got to play around with, I'll be very impressed if there are a ton more. We don't have a release date for the game, we'll probably see more at E3, but we know it will be coming out this year. So anyways, thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope this kind of gave everyone a general description of what to expect from Code Vein. I'm super excited for it. Hopefully you guys watching this video are excited for it. And hopefully we'll see more at E3 when it comes time around, about next week, I think, when this video is posted. But yeah, I hope they add more weapons. I hope they add more armor. The blood codes are pretty cool. I'd be super excited to see more. I hope the game isn't too short. I really do want a fleshed out story, which honestly is probably the biggest appeal to this game compared to the very difficult gameplay. I really do want a straightforward story. It's not going to be like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where the story is going to be more environmental storytelling. This one is very straightforward on who the protagonist is, who you are, and what your goals are. So I'm really excited for this game, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.